Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm trying to get. Can you hear me? I already see people online watching, but can you hear me? I'm already here, but my network seems. I'm already there, but I don't think I can see. Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me before I begin. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you're listening, if you can hear me. Okay, I see you can hear me 5 to 5. It's an honor to be invited on Daily Singer Phillips show. I want to say thank you for inviting me, and as I promised, I would honor your invitation. And you sent me a series of very difficult questions, but I decided that you should not edit it because as a leader, as an opinion leader, you need to be able to speak to your people frankly. You need to answer questions, even those which are going to be difficult. The first question asks is, who is AGBOR NKONGHO? And you need to know my family, my origin, my career. AGBOR NKONGHO was born Kongo Felix Agbanyo. I happen to be a twin. I was born in Kumba, but I grew up in Great Support in Boya. I grew up from Kongo Felix Agbor to Agbor Showboy. That's how my mom used to call me. And then today I'm popularly known as AGBOR Balla. I went to primary school in CBC Great Support Boya. Then dropped the O-level, the common entrance in class 6. Initially passed this B, but I didn't go to college. Then went to St. Joseph's College, Sase Boya, where I passed the ordinary levels in Form 4. I was admitted in Cameroon College of Art Science and Kumba, Kumba, and I was dismissed in lower seat for clandestine writing. I mean, at that time, Lavoie. So I think that the activist in me had already embedded in me. And then I passed the advanced level, went to the University of Yaoundé, where I had a degree in law, went to the law school in Nigeria. After that, went to Belgium, where I did an LLM, started a PhD, abandoned, went to the US, did another LLM in international and human rights law, then got a job, worked in Sierra Leone at the International Criminal Tribunal for Sierra Leone, went to Afghanistan in Mazar as a human rights officer. After that, I came to Congo as a legal affairs officer with the UN police, then moved to Afghanistan as a legal affairs advisor to the mission. And after a while, I decided that my time was off and I wanted to come back to Cameroon, my country, because I felt that I had some unfinished business in Cameroon. So I'm from a family of 8. We are 5 boys and we are 3 girls, a very engaged and a very diverse family. You can see a lot of them on Facebook. As a career, my career, I've been I'm a lawyer. I run the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, an NGO that was founded in 2005 by a group of African students studying in the US. We felt that we needed an organization that could promote and protect human rights in the continent, so we created the organization. So I've worked extensively in the UN, and I'm now more in civil society organization. The second question, where you were one of the original actors, pioneers of the Anglophone struggle, could you please tell us or refresh our minds on how it all started and why we are where we are today? Well, it's very interesting. The struggle really started in October 2016 after our friend and colleague Barrister Aben Roland had attempted to organize a press conference in Douala on the 1st of October to address the issues of the fact that OHADA, the law governing corporate practice and corporate and commercial practice, was only in French and not in English, and the meeting was banned. As a result of that, I at that time, I was the president of the Faculty Lawyers Association. I decided to convene a meeting in Bamenda. I spoke to Barrister Harmony Bobga, who was the president of the Northwest Lawyers Association. Equally, Barrister Awuta, who was the president of Mehmet Lawyers Association, and our sister in Manfi, who was the president of the Manu Lawyers Association, subset. And we decided to meet in Bamenda to call for a 3-day strike action. So basically, that is how we started. And after I remember when I posted on our forum that we're calling on a strike action, I remember how people really criticized me, and they felt that we did it without the consent of the General Assembly. But we, like the leaders of the various associations, felt that it was necessary because we wanted to address the marginalization and the kind of exclusion in the legal sector. So from there, it morphed up into further strike actions where we boycotted courts. We had a protest march in Bamenda, which I participated as FACLA president with a few of my executive members. And then we had the famous one in Boya also. And you know what happened, the forces of law and order, or I call them forces of disorderliness and lawlessness, clamped on the people, beating lawyers, seizing their wigs and gowns. And I think that was the harbinger for the current crisis. But we felt that it was not enough that just lawyers, teachers had been planning the strike action. We felt that it was not enough just for us to go on strike. So we needed the teachers and others to join us on board. And myself, Dr. Fontem, and Dr. Abama met on one day at the former GC board inside my car for us to talk about creating an association. We left there, we went to an apartment that we had somewhere in federal quarters, and Akwanga's brother, the one who was a teacher, represented Mr. Tasang, and we started talking of how we could come together. Then we were talking about the names: Cameroon Anglophone Organization, Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society Organization, and when we Barrister Harmony Bobga wasn't around, and he gave us the idea that we should include consortium. So we had Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society, that like the experience in South Africa, we should have a name consortium. So that is how we came with the Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society Consortium, of which I was the first president. Dr. Fontem was the Secretary General, and Mr. Tasang was in charge of programs. So that is and then we started the general strike action, where we included, the consortium was made up of civil society organizations, teachers, lawyers, trade unions, as everybody, but also it had room for members to attend, to be members of the consortium, individual members. So that's how we had representatives from the youth. I remember I called some of our friends in the diaspora to give us the names of the youth, and that's how we had one formal student union president in the University of Boya that was part of the consortium. So, and then we called on the famous 9 January strike ghost town, that to me has been the most successful in the history of Anglophone Cameroon, because there was no force. We didn't coerce people. The consortium was a non-violent pacifist movement that clamored for change, that preached about, talked against marginalization, oppression and suppression of the people of Southern Cameroon, and we felt that a return to a federation would be the panacea to solve the problems that we face as a people. So that is basically a walk down memory lane, and all of us know that on the 17th of January, because of the success of the consortium, because this consortium was a legitimate voice of the people, because the consortium met the aspirations, the demands, and the wishes of the people of the Southern Cameroons, we had become so powerful. We were controlling the territory, and we had the respect of each and every one in our community. The government felt that we had become so powerful, and on the 17th of January 2017, the Cameroon Anglophone Civil Society Organization, popularly known as the Consortium, was banned. And 1 hour after it was banned, myself and Dr. Fontaine, while trying to strategize on the way forward post the banning of the consortium, I said we were arrested, and one person said the last time that we were kidnapped, and we were arrested or whatever, kidnapped and handcuffed and taken to Yaoundé in a very gruesome manner. That was really cruel, inhuman, and degrading, because we were cuffed from Douala to Yaoundé, and we were blindfolded when we were taken to the DGRR, that's the intelligence service, and the next day we were taken to SET, also blindfolded. So, which is something that is a gross violation of our human rights. We were not given any warrant of arrest. They argued that they arrested us flagrante delicto in the course of committing a crime. I don't know the crimes that we committed, and we were tried under the heinous 2014 law on that, the anti-terrorism law that fights against terrorism in the country. But all of us know that it was more of a political decision. So I think that is, I've just given you in a very synopsis. I don't want to take a lot of your time. In a synopsis, I've just given you a walk down memory lane with regards to the how the consortium came about, how the whole situation came about, and why and the next question, how it all started, and why we are where we are today because of the intransigence of the government. We are where we are today because of the failure of the government to talk, to dialogue, to open a veritable negotiation, rather than talk to the people, rather than talk to the representatives of those who were leading the struggle at the time. The government decided to use brute force. But unlike, in the Soviet Union, they said brute force and skillful leadership made the Soviet Union a superpower, but this one was only brute force without any skillful leadership. And as a result of our arrest, I think they arrested the most moderate guys in the struggle, and this led to a proliferation of other groupings and associations. And the people felt that because of the way their leaders had been treated, the leaders who were just clamoring for federation, they had moved from a federation and they were clamoring for an independent or the restoration of the state of Southern Cameroon. So we are where we are because of the intransigence of the government, because of the refusal of the government to dialogue, because of the disdain and arrogance of the French-speaking dominated government against the people of the Southern Cameroons. We are here. We are where we are because they feel that they have a monopoly of the way they ruled us, and they don't consider us as part of the country. They, in their estimation, we are a second-class citizen that just have to be marginalized, that just have to be oppressed, and just have to be subjugated to the whims and caprices to satisfy the economic and political interests of those who are controlling us. Okay, the third question: the government has met most of the demands. Why is it that Northwest and Southwest regions still what they are? Is it possible that the government has done its best, but the people on the other side are being unreasonable and manipulated? You see, I was in Geneva a few weeks ago, and I had the minister during the Universal Periodic Report, which I represented the Lawyers Watch for Canada, of which I'm a member. I was presenting the UPRO, the Universal Periodic Report of the said organization on Cameroon, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lojen Belambela. This question is just like what he said, and he said it again in the UN, that they had met all the demands of the lawyers and teachers, but because they were manipulated and separatists were there, and they took over. No, they did not meet up all the demands. And during the days of the consortium, we had morphed everything under the consortium. So negotiating with the teachers and the lawyers was not enough. They had to negotiate with the consortium, and we had brought in the issue of federation, because we said that all these problems could be best addressed in a federation. If you translated OHADA in English, if you ensure that teachers, francophone teachers or common law trained magistrates were the ones appointed in the Southwest or Norway, it's not sufficient, because the historical marginalization and oppression for 56 years, we needed to go back to the drawing board to be able to address the fundamental and the root causes of the problems. The root causes of the problem, it wasn't just a teachers and a lawyers strike. The population had been involved. The civil society had been involved, and we needed to find a solution. We were still talking. They were still talking with the teachers in Bamenda when the meeting failed and we were arrested. So the government had not met all the demands, and it's not that our people were manipulated, because being unreasonable and mean manipulated, it means that there was somebody out there that was manipulating us. But if you look at those who were leading the consortium, if you look at those who were in the negotiating table, these were people who were more educated. These were people who were very, very committed, you know, and who were ready to fight for their people. So it wasn't possible for them to have been manipulated. So the government has not lived up to expectation. So that is why we are where we are today. And it's not because of any form of manipulation. The fourth question I see here is, the government has accused the diaspora of being the root cause of the situation. Do you have the same point? No, you see, this crisis, if you look at it only from the fact that it's the diaspora that is responsible, then there is a problem. You know, I think that it's a problem that we need to look at it from a very holistic angle. I think there's a problem that we have to address it. We have to sit on the table as Cameroonians and then try to find a solution. The diaspora has a role to play. They have made their own contribution in building the economy of this country, you know, in supporting families. So I don't want us to look at the diaspora only from a perspective of a negative perspective. I think that they have a role to play. Yes, some of them have been doing things which are excesses. Yes, some of them don't really respect those on the ground. They want to lead us from abroad. But yes, also, they have been giving good advice. Yes, also they have been supportive of the struggle. Let us understand that when the consortium was banned, I mean, when internet was cut off in the southwest and the northwest region, the diaspora took the mantle of the entire struggle. They kept the momentum alive. They fought for the release of those. They fought the mounted pressure. We saw it in the various embassies. We saw it in the UN. We saw it in the EU, clamoring for the release of those who had been arrested. So it's not only negative when we look at the diaspora. They have their role to play, and it's a way we need to involve the diaspora in finding a holistic solution. Same also, like I would urge the diaspora also to respect the positions of those who are back home. That because it's not everything that coming from us back home that is negative. We have to be tolerant. We have to disagree without being disagreeable. The whole insult on social media, attacking people's person, it's not really helpful. We need to work together as a people, and unity is in there's strength in unity. We need to work together as a people to try to find a solution to the crisis that we are facing. Okay, question number 5. Are you going to vote for the upcoming elections? If yes, which candidates are you going to vote for? It's a very tricky thing. I don't think that it's the best forum for me to tell you who is a candidate, whether I am voting or not. But what I want the opposition to come together. I think it's high time for the Anglophones to have a candidate. I think the next president of this country is supposed to be an Anglophone. We were talking, I've always suggested for a rotational presidency. And my focus on a rotational presidency is between the people of the Southern Cameroons and the East Cameroons, meaning that there would be a constitutional amendment to have a rotational presidency. So to me, it's high time the next president of Cameroon should be an Anglophone, because it's the only way that we can keep this country together. I don't have any particular preference for any particular candidate, but I believe that the Anglophone candidates should come together and then try to talk to the other Francophone candidates for them to understand that after 57 years of their rulership or leadership of this country, it is time also for the Anglophones or for the Southern Cameroonians to be given an opportunity to rule this country. I think in terms of governance, in terms of our educational system, we have shown beyond reasonable doubt that we can manage the affairs of the state, and also that we can be more respectful of the diversity, the unity in diversity in this country, and respect the cultural specificity. So that would be my take on the elections. In your assessment, will these elections be credible if the two regions don't participate? First, the elections, in my eyes, I don't think it will be very credible. The whole elecam they are being appointed by the president. you know. So I don't really think that it would be he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And there's this famous adage in Cameroon that you cannot buy the finger that fits it. The Constitutional Council, it's also everybody that is appointed by the president. I think they owe an allegiance to him, they owe loyalty to him to ensure that he stays in power. So on the macro level, I don't think that the elections will be credible. They will not be free. They will not be fair. You saw the president going yesterday to Marwa. I don't know whether he went there in his capacity as a head of state or a candidate, because they sang the national anthem. I don't know who took care of the bills, the private plane that he chartered, and all the expenses. You know, so the equities are not equal. You know, the equities are not equal, so I don't think that the elections will be really credible. Then, to add salt to injury, the peoples of the southwest and northwest regions, the people of the southern Cameroons, have shown clearly that they are not interested in voting. And I think that if I were the head of state in this country, my priority would be to reconcile the country, to find a solution rather than being focused on election. But because they said Sigi first, the political kingdom, and because of his French background, he's more interested in his position and not about what the people are feeling. So I don't think the elections will be that credible. Question 7. What are the 3 major things you think can be done to solve the crisis in Cameroon? There's one thing: dialogue. A very holistic dialogue. A dialogue that would include the separatists, that will include those abroad, those at home, those who have taken up arms against the government, those who don't agree with the way the affairs of this country is being manned, and then we sit down on a table and try to find a solution. But prior to that, there are other things that would be done to create an enabling environment. For example, the release of Siseko Ayuk Tabe and Barrister Yambe and Mr. Tassang and all those who have been arrested in connection with the crisis. It would create an enabling environment, a conducive environment for people to start talking. There is also the need for the IDPs, the internally displaced person, which we, as of today, there are about 530,000. This is a record in which the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, which I'm the founder, has. We have about 530,000 IDPs. They have to ensure that they can return back to their homes, to their villages, meaning that the 130 plus villages that have been burned would have to be, their houses have to be reconstructed. They have to rebuild their houses so that it will make it easier for them to come back to their villages. And then also they will need compensation during the period that they have been out. They have lost, they don't have their source of income. Their farms have been destroyed, you know. So this has to be done, you know. So also the refugees, they need to create an enabling environment where the refugees have to come back, and they also have to be compensated. But also there is a point that most of the analysts I follow don't really focus on. We need to address the issues of the diaspora. Okay, there should be a general amnesty, not only for those who have been convicted, but also those who are wanted. Because there are lots of people who are on the blacklist, those who are wanted, those who have been banned from coming to Cameroon. Because I give you an example. If I am living in the United States for America, and then I cannot have a visa to come to Cameroon, okay? Then I would like, if I cannot come to this Cameroon, then let me come to my southern Cameroon state. So even if we find a cosmetic solution today without addressing the whole issue of the diaspora, the dual nationality issue, the ensuring that we have amnesty for all those who are abroad, everybody starts from a clean slate, we would only, you know, in a way, just try to give paracetamol for somebody who is suffering from cancer. We will need what we call in international human rights law or international humanitarian law, the DDR. Not so. We will need disarmament. We will need demobilization. We will need reconstruction. It's very important also, and we will need a reconciliation. We need to have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We need to have an end to impunity, meaning that those who have perpetrated some of these heinous crimes, you know, would at least come there and apologize to those who they have violated their rights, and then we see how we can move forward. All these would help in facilitating a dialogue / a negotiated settlement that would see an end to the mayhem that is currently taking place in the country at this time. Then the next question: What are your political ambitions? You've always been involved in political issues. Are you hoping to run for president one day? Dear viewers, this is a very tricky and a very interesting question, okay? The first thing is that man is a political animal. That's what philosophy says, not so. Everybody is in politics in one way or the other. Because let's not forget, politics controls all what we do, okay? Politics determines whether there should be a tap in front of my house in great support as we used to have it when I was growing up. Politics determines whether we would have a third road in Bakwele. Politics determines whether we would have light in Furawa. Politics determines whether in Bello we are going to have a school. So each and every one of us should be involved in politics. And I think that in all facets of our lives, we have been involved in one way or the other in a political process. You know, it might not be a partisan political process, but in one way or the other, we have been involved in a process. So yes, as a human being, I have political ambitions. Yes, as a human being, I would like to involve in politics, but I'm more of a civil society. I'm more of an activist. So because I think that the world is moving out of the political politicians. We are tired of the hypocrisy, the lies that the traditional politicians have been telling us. I think we need a new way of doing politics, meaning that there's no career politician. We have seen from the Macrons, from the president of the United States, people might not like him, that people are tired of the traditional politicians. So I think that everybody in the civil society, those who have the people's interests at heart, should find a way to get involved in politics. Are you hoping to run for a presidential elect one day? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm a human being, okay? I have my legitimate rights. For the time being, I am not interested in the process, but who knows what tomorrow can offer, you understand? I am still going through my process in my head because it entails lots of other things. It's not just saying that you want to run, but what changes. You know, you can still touch people's life without running for political office. You can still make changes without being a president. The changes that has been brought in this country as a result of the creation of the consortium and the Anglophone struggle, I don't think any Anglophone prime minister or any Anglophone minister has done what has been we did. The reconscientization, the reawakening of Anglophone conscience and Anglophone nationalism, it's something that we did, but without really being involved in partisan politics. So someday I might decide, but for the time being, that is not my biggest worry. My biggest worry is to find a solution to the crisis. My biggest worry is to fight for my people. My biggest worry is to protect and promote the human rights of my people. My biggest worry is to ensure that our IDPs are resettled, that the refugees come back home. You know, my biggest worry is that we lay an enabling foundation where our kids can go back to school, where our economy can be vibrant, where we fight against equality, where the security situation gets better, where each and every one would be able to get a job because of his or her qualification, not because of connection. My biggest worry is a fight against xenophobia, the fight against the hatred, the hate speech that is coming in between the Southwest and the Northwest region. My biggest worry is the fact that, you know, we are in a state of war. So these are things that if we can find a solution, okay, running for president, it's not the end in itself, but just a means to an end. So I believe that if all these things are done, the whole concept of whether you want to be president or not, it's not very important. You can serve the people, you can be there for the people, you can be supportive of the people, you can be the spokesperson of the people without necessarily being a president. Question number 8. Before your arrest, you were very outspoken about the form of the state, federalism. We listened to you many interviews on Equinox, and you were quite vocal about it. After you released your release, you went cold and couldn't mention anything. May we know why? Well, Madam Deli Singer Phillips, I'm a bit surprised by the question. I think that the things that I've said since I left jail that have been more damaging to this government than the things I said, you know, prior to going to jail. Yes, when I left jail, I had to take a break off. I'd been 8 months in Comunicado. I'd been in jail when my father died. You know, it had affected my family. My daughters were broken psychologically and morally. My family was shattered. My friends were worried. You know, I had to take the time to rebuild. You know, I had to take the time to go closer to my God. You know, I had to take take time off to try to look at the way forward. What does AGBOR Balla really want? What can he really do, you know? So I needed to take some time off, a cooling process before I bounce back. And when I did my Thanksgiving in church, it was clearly, it could show the path that I decided to follow. It could show the path that it was a path of reconciliation, a path for peace, a path for dialogue. And it was a moment for introspection that no matter the trials and tribulations that I had gone through, no matter the pains and suffering that the government had caused to me, no matter the fact that people had attempted to rub my reputation into disrepute, being the forgiving person, being somebody who believes in the Madiba, the Mandela's philosophy of reconciliation, peace, and dialogue, I still had to say we need peace, we need dialogue, we need reconciliation. I will leave vengeance to the Almighty God. But if you follow what I said on Equinox and on STV after leaving jail, if you followed what I said during the African Commission in Mauritania, where I called for a regime change, if you followed my interviews on BBC, on RFE, on TRT, on CNN, you would know that the same AGBOR Balla that you used to know prior to jail, it's the same AGBOR Balla. He's just been more wiser, and I think that he's been more aggressive, but in a very tactful and diplomatic way. Okay, the language of the gutter is not necessarily the language that a statesperson is supposed to use, but in terms of fighting for the people, I have been consistent, I've been resilient, I've never wavered. You can tell from what the Center for Human Rights and Democracy is doing, you know, in terms of advocacy, in terms of, you know, calling a spade, you know, in terms of facing the dictator in his face. So I have not at any point in time, you know, developed cold feet. I think I have my friends and my family who are scared. Some don't even think that I should be in this country. Some believe that I should leave the country. Because also, don't forget that I've had threats from those who think that, even some of the hardcore separatists that have threatened my life. But I still, as a person, because I believe in what I believe, and I'd said that nobody would bully me. If the dictator, Mr. Biya, cannot bully me, nobody would ever bully me. So I would keep on fighting for my people. I'll keep on being resilient. I'll keep on defending them. Because don't forget, when we started in October 2016, nobody was the one who came and told me that, Balla, can you call for a strike action? No. It was just a process that I had gone through and then shared it out with my other colleague lawyers, you know, and then we decided to call on the strike. So we would keep fighting for people, but we would respect divergent opinions. Okay, we would disagree with others, but we would not insult them. We would respect their democratic rights to disagree. Because that is a tenet of a democracy. That is a tenet of building a society. We are not in North Korea where it should be your way or the highway. Anybody who thinks that he's on his way or the highway, that person is not a Democrat. That person is not a leader. That person is selling us an illusion. We should be ready. If we think that our ideas, our philosophies, our views are better than others, let us allow it. Let us debate. Let 100 flowers bloom. And let diverse school of thoughts contend. That's what Mao Zedong said. So anybody who is adamant to a debate, anybody who is adamant to divergent opinion, then that person is a dictator and not a Democrat. So I stand and I maintain the fact that we need to work together. You know, we need to work as a team, be it in the Southern Cameroon and the entire country. We have problems, we have issues, and I accept it, but we can still solve them within the ambit of what we have. Okay, no illusion. Nobody should sell us an illusion of a paradise terrestres where they don't accept the views of others. We need to work together. We need to build, and I think that we can build together. Question number 9. Reliable sources claim the Muna family was very close and instrumental in your release, but it would appear you don't. Muna was my lawyer. He's my lawyer. It's like a father to me. I've been close to Ben Muna for a long time. It didn't start today. I told Ben Muna a story that in the early 90s, when I went to Seka for one of my little sister's family friends' graduation, and we were arguing about the SDF, why was Muna running against Frundi, and I was a young boy, just left the university. I walked to Ben Muna, and I asked him why he ran against Frundi, and he gave me his reasons. So this is just to show that I've been who I am, not today. And Ben Muna was my lawyer. He provided legal service, not just to me and to the entire team. Okay, so I have a lot of respect for him. We did not know each other today. And just for your notice, I had lunch at Ben Muna's today. And I visited Akere. Myself and Ben Muna, we went to Akere's house. I visited Akere. I had a discussion with Akere Muna. I think that we have to respect people's positions as people's views and people's views, okay? So and Akere knows my position. He respects me for who I am. And I would always say that we need an Anglophone president. I'm not saying that it should be Akere. I'm not saying that it should be Professor Frank. I'm not saying that it should be O.C. Joshua. The three of them can sit and decide one of them to run for the president. Okay, so to say that I am not supportive of the Munas, no. I mean, I think that I have respect for them, but also they have respect for me. I have my own political views. I have my own opinion. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a political person. I'm not involved in partisan politics. So I don't think it's now that I want to get into partisan politics. I think when the moment would come, I would have consulted with my daughters, with my family, and then I would have tried to pray and made an introspection, and also to the many fans and friends who are very supportive of me. Then I'll take a decision. Question number 10. Who sponsors your activities around the world? Unlike Dr. Fontem and the rest, you live flamboyantly, and this has led to many insinuations that you were bribed. How true or false is this? Well, you see, these are probably people who don't know me. I'm sure some of the people who are watching me now, those who know me, know my family and know who I am, flamboyantly. I said in the introduction that I was born Kongo Felix Agbanyo because I was a twin. My sister died at birth. So I think I was a special child. I grew up as Agbo Showboy. My mom gave me the name Agbo Showboy. It means that whilst I was a kid, she saw something in me that probably reflected the flamboyant lifestyle. Okay, so that for people who don't know me, I'd worked at the United Nations. I'd had some savings, okay? And I have friends, and I have a very close-knit family. My family, my sisters, my brothers, they have been very, very supportive of me. Most of my traveling has been sponsored by my sisters and my brothers, and also my friends. I have friends who've bought me a first-class ticket to go to the UK or to go to South Africa to attend meetings. And also, I attend some official functions. If I'm going to the Human Rights Council and I'm representing an organization, the organization makes sure that they buy my ticket. And let's not forget, prior to me going to jail, I traveled out of Cameroon at least 5 times. I remember that the last travel I went sometime in November, in Zimbabwe to the African Bar Association, of which I'm the vice president also. So if I studied in Belgium, I studied in the US, I worked in Sierra Leone, I worked in Afghanistan, I worked in Congo, I lived I've been in Holland. I mean, so all these are places I had gone prior to me going to jail. So my life did not start with going to jail, and my life will not end after going to jail. So I know that we live in a society where we are very destructive. I know we live in a society where we are very envious. I know we live in a society where we want to bring people down. I know we live in a society where if I cannot do it, nobody else can do it. So I think that this is an opportunity to tell each and everyone that this PhD syndrome, pull him or her down syndrome, we should try to execute. We cannot build a society. We cannot build a Southern Cameroons when we only try to destroy people, okay? Each and everyone has his or her potential. The Lord that created us gives us potential. There are people who will be millionaires, but there are people who will be good politicians. There are people who just know how to talk. There are people who will be community leaders. There are people who will be good footballers. So we need to appreciate the diversity in us. As they say, the 5 fingers are not the same. So when we spend time trying to castigate, trying to bring the image of someone into disrepute, it really doesn't make sense for those who know me. And I challenge everybody, I challenge anybody who has proof that are taking a dime from this government, who has proof that they gave me money. I challenge them to come out. I've met a litany of people who today they have apologized to me because of the misconception that they had. But because most of them, we don't have the democratic tenets that we might disagree, without being bought over. We might disagree because of our political views, So I think that we should understand and respect each other's diversity. This government that I know, if they had given me a dime or anybody, they would have leaked it. Okay, they would have arrested me. I said that there should be a regime change. You don't take money from this wicked regime and you say there's a regime change and you go free. So it is all false. No iota of truth in it. And I challenge anybody who has any proof, because I feel a bit insulted. I feel disrespected. And I feel also that they have not treated my friends and my families who have been supportive of my traveling. These are people who have been buying my tickets and assisting me. It's disrespectful to them to think that it's somebody who has been sponsored. But you know, I'm an advocate of the SCNC motto, the force of argument and not the argument of force. I'm somebody who likes intellectual swordplay. I'm somebody who likes to debate ideas, issues, and to see how we can build together without necessarily insulting. Have you ever had a face-to-face discussion with President Paul Biya? No, to all the viewers, I have never. Okay, I've never met him. I've never been in any place that Mr. Biya is. Hopefully I will not be able to meet him, or probably until he leaves power. So never met him. Question 12. What impression do you have of the following? Ayabacho. I've known Ayabacho for a very long time. Around 2002, we marched in the EU and in the European Union, clamoring for better rights of the southern Cameroon. Ayaba has been consistent. Ayaba has been somebody who has advocated for violence since I know him. He's been consistent. I respect him as a fighter. I might disagree with the means he's using, but as a person who has his beliefs and his core principles, I have respect for him. We have differences in the way, all of us agree that there's a problem, but we have differences in the way that the problems should be solved. So that is my fundamental issue with Ayaba. But I talk to him, he calls me, we have mutual respect, I don't have a problem. Prince Ekoso is a very dynamic young man, the leader of the USDP. I met him a few minutes ago at the residence of his candidate, Makere, and he was one of the guys who used to visit me in prison a lot, so I have a good relationship, and we exchange ideas, and he's a nice guy. Wilbur Joseph, the fighter, he's one of the most genuine person in this struggle. Okay, Wilbur is one of the most genuine person, somebody I have enormous respect for. You know, he is a wonderful person. Wilbur is not interested in the showmanship. Wilbur is not interested in the publicity. I could tell you that even when Wilbur was in hiding, Wilbur ensured that he would send me money in jail. And you could see the day Wilbur came to court. You could see the reaction. You could see the love. You could see the mutual respect we had. We had a lot of plans before my arrest. We were talking, we were working, and I still hope that we would build the team force between AGBOR Balla and Wilbur. Somebody I have, Siseko Tabe, gentleman, a statesman, the president. Somebody who I would talk to a lot of times. We would exchange ideas. It's not about coming on to the social media. Somebody that even some of his supporters did not know that I talked to him a lot. I remember when I was going to Chatham House and I called him, Mr. President, I am going to Chatham House. What do you want me to discuss? He said, I'll get back to you. Unfortunately, he didn't get back to me before Chatham House. But when I was I was meeting the Commonwealth Secretary General, I said, Mr. President, I am meeting the Commonwealth Secretary General. What should I discuss? He sent me a list of things that I should discuss. And I took Mr. Eli Smith in that meeting. And midway in the discussion, I showed the Secretary General, the Commonwealth Secretary General, this is my conversation with the incarcerated, with the President. Can you address these issues? And even when his family house was attacked, he would call me and like, Balla, can you use your platform to ensure that the world knows what is happening to me and my family? So, I mean, we have a very wonderful relationship. He has sent word to third parties that he really wants me to come and see him. Unfortunately, the people had attempted several times, they don't want me to see him, but God willing, when they take him to court, I will definitely be there to provide my own support, because he's a wonderful man, and as a leader of the people, we need to show our support. We need to support him, because he was also supportive of those of us who were in whilst we were in detention. Question 13. Your visit to the UK left a rather sad taste in the mouths of those who had intentions of asking genuine questions. It is said that you rather snubbed them. What will you actually transpire? You see, for those of you who followed that unfortunate incident in the United Kingdom, and let it be put on record that after Philemon Yang, I've been the only Anglophone that has been invited to Chatham House. So that is something that we are the revolution, the person who was the head of the consortium that started the struggle, had been invited to Chatham House to talk on the issue. But because of this PhD, this pull-down syndrome, because of the real or imaginary enemies who felt that, no, he'd become very popular, he's very powerful, we'll try to destroy him. And people started coming with all conspiracy theories. But I am not somebody who's very annoyed with people. When they started protesting outside, I told the ladies of Chatham House that I wanted to go. She told me, "Nah, please don't go." Okay, that if you go out, whatever you do, whatever happens to you, they will not be held responsible. I told her that they are my people. They cannot harm me. And I cannot be scared of people. I have met the dictator. I had lived in his dungeon for 8 months. I had survived tear gas in Bamenda, in Boya, and in Moyoka. I will not be scared of my people in the United Kingdom. And she said I was the only person that was willing to confront protesters, that those who had come there to speak in Chatham House never confronted the protesters. When I was finished, I went out and I spoke to them. I took a few questions, but the bad blood was there, okay? These were people who came with placards. They came with placards to destroy me, but I spoke to them. I spoke on, I can remember I said self-determination could be internal or external. Okay, that federation, it's a form of internal self-determination. So, but because the fact that they had come to personally attack me, and after a while, you know, because of the fact that my security also could not be guaranteed, after a while, the guys who had accompanied me there, some of them I just met at Chatham House, but who lived in London, they told me that no, it's you've taken a few questions, you should stop. Anybody who knows me knows that I would not snub people, especially people from Southern Cameroon. The last thing that Phillips, you guys contacted me just a few days ago. I don't know you, but I accepted that I will talk to you because I think that we need to debate issues, we need to discuss. And why should I be scared to talk to my people? I can never be scared to talk to them because these are the people also. Don't forget, you are a leader because you have people. These are the people who fought for me, who showed me love. And I believe that even those who came there to protest, they don't hate me. Okay, it was just a matter of circumstances, because I still think that they believe that I'm the people's leader, they believe that I'm their leader, and I owe them a duty, you know. But in the course of leading people, you would make errors. Okay, perhaps the heat of the moment, I might have reacted in a way that was not the best, but I thought that during that period, the way I reacted was the best. But in case some of them are still feeling hurt by what I did, I would say I'm sorry. I would apologize to them because it wasn't my intention to snub them. I'm not a snob by nature. I'm not an arrogant person. I grew up in the ghettos. Those who grow up in the ghettos and are hardly snobbish. And I'm not one of those who feel that he has succeeded in life. And no. I respect people. I respect each and every one. And I would want to tell them that if they feel, because I think that I did what was right, but if they still feel that I really did snub them, I offend them, I would say I am sorry and let them find a place in their heart to forgive me, because we need to move on as a people. Thank you. Question number 14. Have you at any point had regrets of ever spearheading the struggle? Oh no, the best thing that happened to me was spearheading the struggle. And if they were to rewind the hands of the time, I would still do same. Because just the fact that we had woken the consciousness of the people, our nationalism. Because after the All Anglophone Conference in Boya, the formation of the consortium and the struggle in October 2016 is the biggest thing that has happened in Anglophone Cameroon. And I am happy that I happened to be, God used me as one of the leaders, you know, to be part of this memorable, you know, this historic, this epoch-making event. So I would never regret it. Yes, I cried when my father was being buried. My father died in my house on the 10th of December. And I'll tell you a little story. The day my father died, while my father was still in the house, when I'd called the doctor certified dead, I'd called some of my aunties to come and see him. That same day, CNN called me for an interview. I walked like 5 meters away from my house and I had a conversation with them for 10 to 15 minutes. Nobody could believe that as I was talking to them, my father was already dead in my house. Because the struggle is my life. The struggle has consumed me. Okay, I am passionate. I live and I breathe the struggle. Okay, so I mean, my father, where at that time he was still there, I'm sure he will be laughing that is his son Balla. Balla will do what Balla wants to do for the people. And I was proud. And I think my dad will be proud of the fact that he was still in my house on his bed that he had died, but I was granting an interview. It takes very few people to do that. You need to have your people at heart. And I cried when my dad was being buried. And I was in Konenge with 12 Boko Haram people. And I could not cry. A leader doesn't cry in public. A man in Africa doesn't cry in public. I had to burn my head on my pillow. And I cried. But none of them noticed. Until the next day when they watched press review. And the Guardian Post and the rest, they wrote that AGBOR Balla's father was buried. And they were like, what? What? So I said, yes, my father was buried. But that is me. That is the man. This is a child who had been involved in the struggle. I grew up as a boy in Great Sopoboya. I knew Batebison, who is like a mentor to me. I knew Chief Charles Taku, then Gwane George. The organization of the AAC1 started by members of the Boya Writers Club. They used to hold meeting in Batasof. I would go there as a young boy in Great Sopo. This is something, this was in the 90s. I would go there. You know, I would run around. I would go to Bate Bisong's house to clean his house just to hear how Bate speaks English. Just to be associated with Bibi. I would run errands for Chief Taku, Ngwane, and the rest. This is a young man who in the late 90s, in 98, he wrote a thesis on self-determination in international law, the case of Southern Cameroons. In 1998. This is a young man who was the first president, the first chair of the Southern Cameroon's European Coordinating Committee. Larry Ayamba, who is in Belgium, would attest to. Mr. Andrew Njoy in Cameroon. This is a young man who has been involved in the struggle. Who had organized conferences in Boya, having Professor Kale, this current minister, Madame Ba, used to be a speaker in the conferences that we organized. We've had Chris Fomunyo several times. We had Molan Jolly Tumbe. So it did not start today. The activism in him as a boy or as a child did not start today. But he has always been consistent because what matters to him is the people. So he would never have any regret serving the people. I'll never have any regret fighting for my people. What can you tell Anglophone Cameroonians at this point in time? I want to tell them that they should be resilient. The struggle continues. We must fight. Fight for our legitimate rights. Bob Marley says we have to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. But none but yourself can free your own mind. Yes, we have to free our mind. Yes, we have to free our people. Yes, we have to ensure that fundamental rights are respected. But we should equally do it within the ambit of the law. We cannot do it by telling our children not to go to school. Because when we set school boycott, it was a temporary measure. We cannot do it by crippling the economy of our people. We cannot do it by bullying our people. We cannot do it by locking down the cities. Our people cannot go to work. Businesses are crumbling. We cannot be destroying our economy. We cannot destroy CDC. We cannot destroy our educational system. Our kids, the educational system, that is the only industries we have in the economy of the Southern Cameroons. When we destroy it, we are francophonizing our kids that are now going to East Cameroon to study. Those who cannot afford, they are the ones who are suffering. We should think. We should strategize. I plead with all the leaders of the various factions. I plead with all the arms groups. I plead with them that please think about your people. Let us not get carried by our success and become so arrogant that we don't address what is happening. I came for a meeting yesterday in Yaoundé. I went out at night. I saw Southern Cameroonians in Yaoundé. A lot of them. They are not happy. We need to create enabling environment for them to go back where they are. We need to fight for them. They should be our focus. I plead with all the leaders. Please, re-strategize. Think. Our children will become illiterates. Our people are suffering. We call upon you, all of you, bury your hatchet. Forget the differences that you have. Nobody should be the supreme leader. We are not in North Korea. Talk to each other. Call for a post-Washington conference, a genuine one. Support the Cardinal Tumi initiative. Let us find a solution. Let us have a common position. If there were to be talks or dialogue or negotiation tomorrow, we would prepare and present a common position. The insults on social media, it's ridiculous. And to all Anglophones and to all Southern Cameroonians, I want to say thank you for the support you gave to us while in detention. Thank you for the sacrifices you made for the struggle. For the IDPs, I hope and pray that someday you will be able to go back to your various villages, and the same with those who are in Nigeria. And may the good Lord continue to bless and guide us and protect us, and He would see us through. That we would, by the time this struggle comes to an end, we will be more united, we will be stronger. And to the peoples of the Southern Cameroon, Southwest and Northwest, unity, unity, unity. This talk about Southwest and Northwest, let us build, let us work together, because it's our strength. It clearly shows that when we work together, from the days of the GC board, from the days of the consortium, it shows that when we work together, we always achieve our aims. Don't forget that we protested to have the University of Boya. And to Delhi Singer Phyllis, I say thank you for giving us this wonderful opportunity, for giving me this opportunity to express my views. Some people might disagree with me. Some people might not like the things I say, but they should respect my views, okay? Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. Everybody, the Southern Cameroons is made up of those who want separation, those who want federation, and those who believe in a unity state. Nobody should think that his own position is the best. Nobody should think that they have the monopoly of rulership or of knowledge. We should come together and see and what the majority would decide. Okay, not decision by bullying, not decision by blackmailing, but decisions that we all agree. And whatever position that the majority would support, rest assured that I would religiously support it, I would defend it, and I'm ready to spill my blood for it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Do I have any question that I need to answer? Any question? Any question that I can answer? I'm ready to answer a few questions. If not, then I want to say, is there any question? Padi Asanga, I see you. Is there any question? Huh? Yes, Siri Nancy, thanks a lot. Wali Keyaka, Wali, why do you like trouble? Is this not a personal question? Wali? These are personal questions. Shabe Etel, thanks for the wonderful support. I always appreciate your objectivity, you know, and everything. So I mean, I see people making comments. Miss Della, if there's a particular question you want me to answer, you can let me know, because they're just comments. I'm not seeing Ray Tayong, thanks a lot, my brother. Adis Formula, thanks a lot. Ndeme Bajo, you've been my boy. We've been very supportive. Honorine Chike, thank you. Fred Lebo, thank everybody. Frunix, thanks for the continuous support. Commissaire, you're always consistent. Edward Jonas Karawa, we would always disagree. The oppressor has said categorically that federation is not an option. The oppression has also said that separation is not an option. We will not depend only on what the oppressor says. We would fight. We would fight the oppressor in his stuff to ensure that what we want, we get it. So it's not just what the oppressor says, it's what we want. But we can fight for it. I mean, whatever we can get, it's a process. You don't just get up early one morning and you think that you can achieve everything the same day. So, yes, the oppressor says categorically that federation is not an option, but we will tell the oppressor that federation is an option, that he will give us in this country, whether they like it or not. And I can say categorically that it might not be in my lifetime, but we will have a federation in this country. It might not be with Mr. Biya, but the next president of this country will not take us for granted, and we would have a federation in this country. What else? Is there another question? I'm not seeing any. Hey, Kiki, how are you? Long time, eh? Keep up the good work you're doing. Amakele Kume, hi. Rosa Senge, Abigail, nice to... Yes, Mr. Njwalem, what's the matter now? How you day? Long time. We've not... You abandon your man. Sedi Jenkins, hello. Hey, Madam Seke, what's up? My brother Mb, thanks for watching. Mr. Nanje, how now? How's North America doing? Eno Omar Bayen, what's up? Hey, Cyril, everybody's fine. Gongo Suzanne, thank you, Madam Facebook. I follow you on. Hey, Mario, how are you, my young man? Keep it up. Dikum Victor, man, I came to your country, you were not, so too bad, but we'll meet again. Yes, Gilbert, keep telling truth to power. I like the way you speak it on Facebook. Condemn whoever you think that violates the rights. Hey, Alpha Sise, my brother from Sierra Leone, you know that yeah Bobo de as we talk with Creole, Ade Panam, I'm still Bobo Pain. Elma, thanks a lot for the support and everybody. And I think that Maximilian, thanks a lot. For the number of times you always visited me in jail. I have a record of everybody who came and visited me and everybody who spoke to me. So I'm working on my memoirs, my prison diary. Hopefully it will come out. It will come out soon. Atia, well, you're my PA that I don't see you very often, but you know that we went through hell and you've always been like a junior brother to me. I always have respect for you. Be healed. Thank you, my sister. Keep up doing the work. I know you're a Twitter warrior, Tweet as many times as possible. Let the world know what is happening. Munge Karin Mangen, nice. Dolly Mott, say hi to everybody in Germany, okay? Oh, Bob, what is happening in Denmark? The support team, are they doing well? Ray Edmondo, how are you doing, my brother? Keep it up. So who else? Arrogant Bacho. Well, my brother in Kaskumba, we are there, hanging in there, Keeping who else? Yes, divine. Gaza. I am there. We would always tell truth to power. Unconditional release of all detainees. Yes, Gaza, I know that's what you told me. My sister Rebecca Enonchom, thanks for all the support. Keep on bringing to the attention of the national and the international community what is going on in the country. Hey, Ray, Tima, try to catch up with me. It's been a while. Francis Tambuagbo, say hi to everybody. Say hi to the family. And Takem Sali, thanks for being there. Charlotte L. Brown, everybody. Lawrence Leonga, one of the most dedicated and committed lawyers who has been very was there for me. I say thank you. May the good Lord always bless you. Yvonne Eruneta, thank you. Mommy Pasi, God bless. Oh Lord, Havoc Achingale, my speech writer, my brother. We've known each other for about 30 years. Thanks for you call me Mr. International. Thanks for always being supported. Luma Fred, my son and junior in the office, I say thank you for all the support. May God continuously to bless you. Gloria Mbe, keep on doing the work. My sister from Munya, Sophie 40, thank you. I'm coming to the UK soon. I hope we'll catch up. Pretty Bella, thanks a lot. Ajong Stanislaus Emeritus, the president of FACLA that I took over from, my classmate in law school and my roommate. Greetings. I want to say thank you for the advice you always give me behind the scene. I think it's because of people like you that I keep on doing what I'm doing and I still have the energy. Lilian Etuka, thank you a lot. Ngasanina, thanks a lot. Thanks for the visit. Thanks for the snails in jail. I would never forget you. Kingsley Epanti, you are my boy since the days of support. I say thank you. Yes, Delhi, you're wonderful. You gave me the platform, and I'll be eternally indebted. Ben Sona, greetings from this part of the world. Phoenix, toujours mon ami. Winifred Ayukare, thank you, grand sir. And I think that's everybody's. Nestor, may God continues to bless you. And so let me call